Hello, and welcome to the Tuning In podcast. I'm Dana Evans, your inner voice and emotional support coach. In this podcast, we explore the deep wisdom that lives in our bodies, emotions, and inner voice. Together, we'll shed the layers that no longer serve us, creating space to tap into the flow of life and experience true ease. So, are you ready to join me? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to a micro episode of the Tuning In podcast. We have been on a hiatus, y'all, and I am not ready to give you a full download of what this summer break has been like. Today is August 31st as I'm recording this, so we are just about at Labor Day. We are just in that transition from summer to fall. We're moving into Virgo season. We're in transition. The light is definitely changing. And I really took a proper summer break. And I didn't tell you all on the podcast. I apologize for that. I did a post on Instagram and I sent an email to my newsletter list, but I did not give a podcast update. So just so you know, I've been on summer break. It was a very clear guidance that came through multiple forms. It was not easy at all. But it has proven to be really fruitful and beautiful and painful and wonderful. But one big thing that has come out of this is I have started writing again. So I used to write newsletters and blog posts all the time. And I looked back at my old newsletters, I looked back at my old blog posts, and I really loved writing. But somewhere along the way, through conditioning, through the coaching business, through trying to make everything work and be marketable and fit into a niche, I stopped enjoying writing. And I would write, and if you're on my vitamin D newsletter, like you would get some really beautiful posts from me occasionally, but there was a lot of resistance to it. So by putting everything down, by putting the podcast down, by putting Instagram down, by putting my offers down, stepping away from the business, I have started enjoying writing. And I started by journaling in my day one journal, which is a digital journal, and I love it. You can make subjournals. And so I made a subjournal about the art of being. And this is really about this experiment of setting the business down, taking a summer break, stepping away from the coaching industry, all the things. And it is amazing what has come through. So slowly but surely, I have been publishing content again. But I have not been publishing it to my vitamin D newsletter because the type of content is a little more in depth. It's more exploratory. And I didn't want it just to live in the newsletter. I wanted it to be an evergreen content form that could be referenced, that could be shared, that could be accessed again and again, and that could kind of be an archive as I'm sharing my life. So I decided to sign up for Substack. And if you're familiar with that, Substack is a blogging platform. It's so easy to write, edit, format content, to add images. I can add videos, and I can add audio. So the past couple of posts, what I have done is I've written the post and then I read it out loud. So I record myself reading the actual post, which turns out is kind of like a podcast because I love using my voice and I love podcasting and I love what comes through, the essence of the words that come through when you use your voice. So, first and foremost, if you are a listener of the Tuning In podcast, please, please, please subscribe to my Substack channel. It's Dana Evans, so DANAEVANS .substack, substack.com. So simple, danaevans.substack.com. You can subscribe. And then you'll get all of the updates of the posts that I write. But also, since you obviously love listening as a podcast listener, you can play those posts in the audio. And then you can comment, you can share. Like, I just want it to be a more integrated experience where everything can live there. However, knowing that not everyone wants to subscribe to another platform, I totally understand. So for some of my core posts, I am also going to release the audio here to the Tuning In podcast. And today is the first one. This one is entitled Mia's Grand Escape. My dear cat Mia escaped from our yard, and so I wrote all about that. It actually just happened last week as I'm recording this, so it's very fresh. I wrote about the emotions that came through, what it mirrored back for me in my life, what I needed to sort through and clear, and how the household shifted in our desire for Mia's safety, but also her freedom. We value her freedom. We did not want to turn her, and honestly, I don't know if we could have, but we didn't want to turn her back into an indoor cat. We want her to be able to go outside, but we want her to be safe. So this post is an exploration on that, and I'm going to play that for you. So thank you so much for listening and for being a loyal listener of the Tuning In podcast. You know how it works over here is I ebb and flow. And so I've been in the ebb. I've been on a hiatus. And I don't know how fully I'm coming back to the podcast because my attention is really in writing. But whenever I do audio recordings of my writing, as a love note to you guys here on the podcast, I'm definitely going to post that as well. And if it interests you, I would love for you to subscribe to my Substack, because you'll also then get emails when I post an update, and you can listen or read it there. It feels good to be recording again. I mean, I haven't even touched my microphone for months, so it feels really good to be recording and to be sharing and to let my creativity flow through without the limitations. So you can expect in this Substack to hear from me on all different topics. I'll be sharing my life, like little musings, experiences that happen. I've shared some poems. I'm going to be sharing messages and notes from my inner voice. So a lot is going to be coming through. And it's just a new exploration and platform. I might start doing video again. That might show up on my YouTube channel. And I do have a really exciting new podcast project that I'm working on. So there's a lot happening all of a sudden. And I would love for you to be on that journey with me if it still aligns with you, because I'm evolving, I'm shifting, I'm changing, and I want to bring you on that journey with me. So thank you, as always, for listening. And here's this week's Substack post from the Vitamin D Substack channel called Mia's Grand Escape. Enjoy. Mia's Grand Escape. Thoughts on freedom, boundaries, and the emotions we carry. As I walk in the door, I expect to see my cat bounding toward me, chirping with delight that I'm home. Yes, cats greet their owners at the door too. Instead, silence. Maybe she's sleeping. I go check her favorite sleep zones, but my husband informs me he recently let her outside. Time to check the yard. Since we moved into our house 2 years ago, Mia has slowly transitioned from being a fully indoor cat for 7 years to an indoor-outdoor cat. After a period of leash training, supervised outdoor time, securing the walled-in yard, and trust building, she is now allowed to go in and out during the day without much oversight. But this day, things were different. She didn't run inside to see me. She wasn't hiding in the house, and I didn't see or hear her outside. The moment we had feared was here. Mia is missing. Actually, her name, Mia, M-I-A, stands for Mission in Action, because she used to get lost in the house as a kitten and cry until we could find her. My husband came out to search and quickly spotted her in the distance, in the far corner of our neighbor's yard. As we called her, she came running but couldn't get back over the brick wall, crying but unable to make the jump. So I climbed over and handed her to John. Oh, sweet relief. But with that relief came a whole new problem. This means Mia has figured out how to jump the wall and breach the safe perimeter of our yard. Crap. Ever try to put the cat back in the bag? To cage a freed animal? To unsay your words? Pandemonium followed as we had to transition to taking Mia out in her harness and leash, walking around the yard and restraining her as she continued to try to jump the wall. Because now she knows there's more to explore. Why stay in the confines of our rather large yard? When we were outside, she just wanted to jump the wall and cried the whole time. She was obsessed. When we were inside, she wailed, yearning for the freedom to be outside. I felt like I was sleep training a child, just letting her cry it out. Absolutely painful. As the week went on, I remained calm on the outside, but my body was showing signs of stress. I was exhausted, prickly, emotional, and unable to make simple decisions. I felt horrible that Mia didn't understand that we were trying to keep her safe. We weren't trying to punish her. So after talking through many options and testing her jumping skills, we decided to build the wall up higher. We will sacrifice the view into the open space behind our house, but ultimately are choosing Mia's safety and freedom over the view. As the wall project drew closer, I became more and more dysregulated. Something was coming up and causing serious resistance to the wall. The emotional intensity made way for a multi-day migraine, and this caused me to delay the project multiple times. I did decide to look up migraines from the book Metaphysical Anatomy by Everett Rose, and it mentions the need for personal boundaries and to relieve yourself from the intense pressure and expectations that you carry. This got me thinking about boundaries and freedom, something that I'm always oscillating between: structure and flow, discipline and exploration, rules and exceptions. Over the years, I've noticed that Mia's actions, moods, and behaviors are mirrors of my own. So going through this whole experience started to highlight my need for more structure and boundaries to create freedom in my own life. Where am I lacking riverbeds so my water can move? The next day, as I took in the view, sad about what needed to happen, a tarantula showed up, literally climbing the wall that was about to get built. I couldn't help but look up the animal medicine for this beautiful creature. Tarantula symbolism is asking you to be patient. This spirit animal lets you know that everything you are asking for is coming to fruition behind the scenes. Therefore, you must step back and allow it all to take hold of a solid foundation. Thus, moving too soon can create instability that will undermine all of your hard work. Tarantula meaning reminds you to trust. This was interesting to me because solid foundation, walls, bricks, hello, and moving too soon. So the migraine wasn't only telling me to look at my boundaries, but it was also slowing down the project so I could be in a stable place before I moved forward. Message received. And while I don't put too much weight into these readings, I do believe that we are constantly in relationship with nature, and I love seeing what it is trying to show me. Fast forward to installation day. I went out early to pick up chocolate croissants for the crew and some extra coffee for me. See, I woke up with a serious case of brain fog and a lingering headache, a feeling no amount of caffeine could touch. As I got closer to home, I could feel my chest tighten, my tears prickling in my eyes. What is happening? Each mile brought more intense emotions. I arrived home carrying an armful of pastries, to a yard full of workers, my neighbor peppering me with questions, and a complete inability to cope. After talking to the foreman and hastily handing them the treats, I quickly retreated inside to take a breath and gather myself. Well, have a meltdown. I walked inside and my husband came to get an update, and I absolutely lost it. Think, hands on your knees, unable to catch my breath, the tears flowing out. In hindsight, these moments do make me chuckle because I can only imagine how utterly confused my husband was. Like, huh? I thought we were clear and happy about the wall. Anyway, he helped me settle as he always does. And I was able to go back outside and direct the crew to make sure everything was clear and on track. The rest of the morning, I laid in bed with intermittent waves of tears, pain near my spleen, and memories flooding through. I was reminded of a move we had years ago that felt completely forced upon me and out of my control. Oh, this pain, this emotion is a flashback, an old experience that needs to be integrated now. With that awareness, I allowed it to happen. I reassured my past self, and I started to truly settle. I could finally go back outside and look at the wall through a fresh perspective. As each brick was laid, I began to feel more calm, more at ease, and more inspired to make our yard a beautiful oasis. This experience is happening for the good of the household, not to strip our freedom, but to expand it. The wall is now complete. Mia has unsuccessfully tried to jump the new height, so for now, it contains us all. I'm spending the weekend doing yard projects, feeling grateful for the release that this week brought, for the clarity that came through, and for the past experiences that I was able to heal. Rarely do sudden emotions, life events, or waves of resistance happen in a vacuum. We are whole beings with memory, not just in our minds, but in our cells, our organs, our tissue. The body knows what needs to happen, and when we slow down enough to feel it, listen to it, and pay attention to the messages within and all around, we can truly release and bask in the sweet relief on the other side. I welcome any reflections, shares about your own experiences, and questions in the comments below. Thank you for reading as I share this multi-layered journey of Mia's grand escape. I hope this offers you not just an interesting story, but perspective and reflections for your own life. As always, inward and upward. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I hope this was a fun, different type of post for you to listen to interact with. And you can see the full text on my Substack at danaevans.substack.com, which also includes some fun photos of the tarantula, of Mia looking adorable in her harness, and of our new wall. So we will see you next time. I actually have one that I'm going to release next about the wisdom of darkness. So you can tune into that short micro episode as well. Have a great day. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. thank you for joining me in another episode of the Tuning In podcast. If you loved this episode, please rate and review it or share it with a friend. If you want to go deeper into the realm of emotions and learn the language of your body, check out my audio course, Emotions Decoded, at alignful.com/audio. As always, you can follow along with my journey on Instagram at Dana_Evans. See you next week.